Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as IvyWinter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney video. I actually wanted to do a review of the Lines app for you today. If you don't know what that is, it is touringplans.com's app that you can access if you have a touringplans.com subscription, and I actually used it quite a bit on my January trip. I want to talk a little bit how it works and if I think it was worth it and accurate and all of that good stuff. First, yes, I do have a subscription to Touring Plans. I don't take crowd calendars too seriously. That's not the main reason why I have it. There are other aspects to having a Touring Plans subscription that I enjoy, one of it being that anytime there's a change in park hours, closings, and all of that, they auto email you that once you put in your trip and you say I'm going these days, they will give you an email alert for any changes that might happen. Super helpful. They also do email you if crowd calendar numbers change. Again, I don't take them too much to heart, but it's also always good to know. And then on top of that, you get to use their Lines app. So the app is free to download, but you cannot access a lot of the information unless you have a subscription. You could also buy the unofficial guide to Disney World, which is their guide, and that usually gets you some sort of discount to touringplans.com. I actually have them in the link below because I think their guide is fantastic. So if you're somebody who goes a lot, that was another reason why I use it. As an annual pass holder, I was going a lot, so I felt like I was getting a lot out of the cost of that. But that said, we were using the Lines app quite a bit actually on our trip. And the Lines app is essentially an app that takes not only Disney's wait times into consideration, but actual wait times of guests. So what does that mean? That means that when I'm at a certain park, I can get in line for a ride, set a stopwatch to go off on the app, and it will time my wait. The upside to this is getting more accurate wait times. The downside is you are trusting other people to be good about their input. You have to remember to start it when you get online. You have to remember to stop it as you're about to board a ride. It does do this great thing where it sends you a pop-up reminder that says, are you sure this is accurate? Just to make sure that nobody's gotten on the ride and then forgot all about it and then hit stop. That would skew the numbers. But I found myself using it not only for the wait times, but I was also inputting some of my own data. So to show how this works, I'm gonna actually just pop up some screenshots because I think that's gonna be easier. But you see all of the different parks that you could choose for the day. It also gives you the crowd level for the day at overall the parks. And then as you click into each park, it's going to give you the current wait time. It will give you the posted wait time, which is what Disney says is the current wait. Like if you went on the Disney app, that's what it would say. And it gives you the expected wait time, which is the wait time from people giving their own data when they're waiting in line. Another neat thing that it'll show you is if you should be riding now, riding later, riding anytime, meaning it might be a ride that like the wait doesn't really fluctuate too much throughout the day. This data is really interesting. I found it somewhat accurate. So it might say Space Mountain waits are only gonna go up. Wait until 9 p.m. then the waits are gonna go down. Now granted, maybe it's 11 in the morning and you're like, I'm not gonna be here at 9 p.m. That might not be the most helpful information for you, but if you're going to be there all day, you might want to take a look at when they tell you to hop on a ride if you're flexible and can work things around and you don't have a fast pass. Now just for fun, we're gonna go into Big Thunder Mountain. I actually find that this is pretty common that Disney overposts their wait times, but your actual wait actually happens to be less. So there's something to take into consideration, and I feel like this app has helped me make decisions when we think like, oh, that's an hour, that's a long time, I don't know if I want to spend an hour on X line. But Lines is telling me it's actually 40 minutes. I think I'm gonna go for it. I think I'm gonna see if I can save that 20 minutes. You can not only track your time for standby waits, you can track your time for fast pass waits, because sometimes you get in a fast pass line, you're like, wow, I'm still waiting 10 or 15 minutes. It's a crazy fast pass line. This is still gonna be a wait. So you can know either way, whether standby or fast pass, how long it's going to take you. So when you go into add wait time, you can either enter a posted time, so you can look up at the time that Disney says and say, oh, they posted 40 minutes, I'm gonna put in the 40 minutes. Or you can change that to time your wait, and then you're able to choose the queue, whether it's standby or fast pass, and then start the timer. I don't wanna actually start the timer right now because I don't wanna mess up anybody's trip. But I mean, I guess I'd also have to submit, but you'll start the timer and then you can do other things in the app. You can go out of the app, you can go to other things on your phone, you can look at other parts of the app, just don't close out the app basically, like don't close it out completely. And then when you're ready, you go back to that ride section and you hit like stop time, and they tell you to do it as you're about to board the ride, and then that's it, you submit your time. It'll tell you how long it was and then you submit. So with all of this, did I find this helpful? I actually did. I found it to be incredibly accurate. As long as people are putting in accurate numbers, it's going to be accurate, right? And as long as enough people are doing it during the day, it's going to be accurate. I think that it really is dependent on people. It is definitely a crowdsourced kind of analytics and data. So the more that people that use it, the more people that are actually submitting times, the more helpful it is, which is why I sometimes took time to submit my own times, because I was like, well, I'm using this data, I should give back a bit, right? But yes, it was actually very on the nose. There was a time when we got onto Navi River Journey, it said 55 minutes, and I believe that the app said it was only gonna be 30. I actually timed it, it ended up being like 24. That's a huge difference. Granted, this was end of the day, so you know, things were starting to slow down. They weren't taking fast passes anymore. This was like right at closing. But to be able to look at this app and say, wow, that's a huge difference, I'm gonna take that risk. And it's almost always been accurate. I didn't really have an experience where we waited on a line and the data I had in this app was wrong. So I actually found it really, really helpful, and to me has made my subscription even more worth it, because it really changed what we decided to do. Like to be able to look at a ride and say, oh, that says 60, but we know we're gonna wait 45 or 40, we know we can do it. Totally changes the way that you tour. And it got to the point where Rob would even be like, what's your app say? What's your app say? Because we knew that it was pretty darn accurate, so we started to really heavily rely on it. But again, it's only as good as the people who are using it, and so if you are going to use it, I recommend that you give back by, you know, timing some of your weights. It might not be every single weight, I know that's hard to remember, but time some of your weights so you can give that data back to the next person using it. Another neat thing about the app is it also keeps any of your touring plans that you might have created. I don't really make those much because I think I'm a fly by the seat of my pants person a little bit when it comes to being in the park. Then you can also see this chat area where people have a whole bunch of different like forums basically where they talk to each other on the app. Now this could be everything from, you know, speculating about Galaxy's Edge to something happening in the park right now. Like sometimes people will be like, I think I just saw a bunch of people getting evacuated from Splash Mountain, what's going on? And then you know, oh hey, something's going on with Splash Mountain. People going back and forth about what the deal is, what they're experiencing. That can be really, really helpful. They also give you what's called the 10-day forecast, and no, it's not weather, it's a forecast of their crowd calendar info per park per day. So again, if that's something that you are very interested in following, that could be very helpful. I think it's really helpful for locals because I kind of feel like once you plan your trip, you plan your trip. Like once you're going, you're going. I couldn't control the crowd days that we were there. They were gonna be what they were gonna be. In a lot of cases it was packed in all 4 parks, so there wasn't like a decision of changing parks. It's harder when you're traveling from out of state, but I think if you're a local, this could be really helpful because you could really decide like, maybe I'm gonna pass today because it says it's an 8 out of 10, but you know, tomorrow we have some time to go and it's a 5 out of 10, so maybe I'll go do that. So I feel like it's better for people who can be more flexible about their days, but it is neat that they have that in the app as well. So do I recommend this app? For lines alone, yes, it really was a game changer. It really, really helped me. I feel like I'm gonna use it a lot more. I did download it for a past trip and then didn't really use it, and now I feel silly that I didn't. I feel like it's super, super helpful. I highly, highly recommend it. This is not a sponsored video or anything like that. This is me just being honest about my experience with it, and honestly, it was a game changer for lines. Again, I don't really care about crowd calendars. That's your jam, you'd like it, but for the actual wait times, it was definitely accurate and definitely awesome. So I would 100% use it. Have you ever used the Lines app in the parks? You know, they have one not only for Disney World, but Disneyland and Universal Studios. Let me know in the comments below your experience. Was it accurate? Was it not? Do you have any other questions about the app? You can also let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. If you like this video and like it, if you like me, you should subscribe. I make videos every single week. I'm so glad to be back to be making more content for all of you guys. It's gonna be great. As always, thank you for watching and have a great rest of the day.